Okay, welcome, welcome, welcome. I will always say for our, oh my God, who could have believed we are having our sixth speaker for the day? Time fly indeed. And we are so happy that we are here. And hey, guys, make sure that you share, get as many people as possible that you want to be part of this with the link that we put out there so that you don't want to miss the woman of God in the house. I see her as a mother in the Lord, me, Reverend Joy, and being at her feet has just been one of the best things that 2024 could have done for me. And that is why we are so privileged. As you know, Challenges to Champion is a community where we want to empower the women, inspire them, and educate them, by just showcasing the diverse experiences of wisdom, of the 21 accomplished winning women, who have achieved success in their respective fields. One thing we did on this summit is to bring, all walks, like those in medical field, those in, in what do I call it, holistic health, those in even production industry, those who have produced products, have their own affiliates. We have people who have, not just authors, but publishers, and people from different entire background that just letting us know that whatever dream you have there, you can achieve it regardless of, what it is. And also remember that, for the first time today, I think that is coming to me, which is the best part of this summit. We want to celebrate you in every little achievement you've done. We want to celebrate you. So our speakers are here to just, lift your spirit from their stories and what they've been through and where they are now, just to help you know that you can celebrate every point in your life, regardless of how small. So with that said, I just want to welcome our coach, Carolina, in the house, and tell us about yourself and everything you want the people in the community. You already know our community. Guys, you really know this coach. She's been with you guys since morning. Tell us all you want them to know and how you can, help them go through this life.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Pastor Joy. It is really a joy for me to be with on the summit this morning or this afternoon, actually, because I really do have a passion for helping women to find their purpose, walk in their destiny, and to have the confidence to know that they were created to make a difference in the world. Today, I wanted to share a little bit about transitions to transformation, and then share some of my life, specifically the last 6 years and some of the things that have happened to me, and just how that when we learn how to manage life, those life challenges, we can be successful. Life is a series of transitions, and we've all been through transitions. We all know that, you can wake up one morning and everything yesterday was perfect, and today you wake up and it seems like your world is just falling apart. And it's scary. It brings us to a place where we are fearful, we feel anxious. There's so many things going on inside of us that we lose sight of our future and we lose sight of our purpose. And so, what I want to do today is just encourage each and every woman and help you to understand that those difficulties are really the springboard for your success. It's really when we learn how to navigate those times of challenge that we get to the place where we can say that I succeeded and I'm a champion. So if you don't have any issues, if you don't have any challenges, you'll never be a success. You'll never be able to say, I'm a champion, because saying that you're a champion means that you have overcome something. I wanted to share just a little bit about my story. As you look at me today, you would not have recognized me 6 years ago. 6 years ago, my husband and I had just moved into a new house in Charlotte, North Carolina. We just relocated to the city, and by all outwards of appearance, I should have been happy, excited, in a new area, excited about making new friends and all of that. Well, anyway, I'm sitting at my desk and looking out on this beautiful maple tree that was in our front yard, and I became very aware of a sense of anxious. I was anxious. I was not emotionally doing very well. And I'm a pretty upbeat person. And so, I began to ask myself, okay, what's going on here? Because this is not me. And that started me on a journey that has led me to where I am today. I realized, looking back on it, that I had made so many transitions in the last couple of months that I found myself in a place where I knew no one. I could not comfortably go to the grocery store without putting it in the GPS. I could not go to a shopping mall, go to the grocery store, nothing. I was in a place that I had not been in 30 some years. And as I sat there, I had to make a decision, am I going to cry and feel sorry for myself? Or am I going to trust that God has put me here for a reason? And what I am going through is part of that process. And so, as I sat there, I said, okay, Carolyn, and I talked to myself, encouraged myself. As these old fears surfaced, I realized that this can be the beginning of the best season of my life. And so, what I want you to know is that sometimes you've got to encourage yourself and tell yourself that whatever I'm going through, I don't know how it's all going to progress. I don't know. In fact, you may not even have a plan at the moment, but if you will get settled in your spirit and know that you are a part of a larger purpose, and there is a reason for your life, and there's even a reason for the challenge that you are going through. Well, fast forward in 6 years, what have I done? Remember, I was sitting there at my desk about to have a panic attack or something. My life was going off the rails. Well, in this last 6 years, I've written 4 books. I've developed an online presence. And for me, that says a lot. Sometimes, I come from a position where I did not like technology. I did not like being on Facebook. I didn't understand why people wanted to be on Facebook. Those people are not your friends. And so why are you trying to get all the friends that you can? Well, now I'm on Facebook making friends. I've learned how to develop a sense of technology and how to work with it. So, I know how to do my own post and flyers and, on Canva and all of that kind of thing. And recently I was selected to have my story shared in a online and virtual magazine, and I was on the cover. And just this past week, I was selected to join the NASDAQ Milestone Circle program for women entrepreneurs. All of this took place as a result of me facing a challenge, being in a place of transition where I did not know where I was going and how I was going to get there. And so what I want to do today is just share with you some of the principles and strategies that I utilized in order to get to where I am today. And I would like to say that I don't believe that I have arrived. I believe that as we continue to be open to new challenges, to see our perspective and enlarge our boundaries, that growth is a part of our life, and we can expect to go from a place of significance to greater influence and greater impact. And that is the why we are on this earth today. So the first thing that I did is that I had to learn that I needed to shift my mindset. And a lot of us, we think that we are very positive, and I've always felt I was a very positive person. But I began to realize that there were a lot of negative thoughts that I had embraced. I had embraced, I can't, I can't do that. I'm too old. I can't learn that. I should have learned that when I was in my 20s or in my 30s. And so I don't know how to do that. And I don't want to learn how to do it. I mean, there were some things that I just said, I don't want to learn how to do. And those were the very things that I had to learn how to do in order to get to the next level that had been preordained for me. And so shifting our mindset, shifting our self-concept is beginning to see ourselves in our future, not in where you are at this particular moment. I used to say, I don't like Facebook. I can't learn technology. I'm afraid of losing something, in Word or Google or Google Docs, all that kind of stuff. I defeated myself by what I was telling myself. And so the very first thing that all of us have to do is recognize that sometimes we are our own worst enemy. We are believing the negative self-talk. Sometimes when you're on Facebook, you hear the comments about haters and people that don't like you. The thing that you need to be concerned about is, are you hating on yourself? Or are you believing in your potential and believing what is possible for you to accomplish? And it all begins with you making a decision that I am going to believe what's possible for me to accomplish, which meant that had to say to myself, no, I don't know anything about Facebook, but I'm going to learn. No, I don't know anything about Canva, but I'm going to learn. I don't know anything about Instagrams, but I am going to learn. And all of us have to make that transition. Am I going to be comfortable and stay where I am, or am I going to believe in the potential that is lying dormant within me and step out on it? Don't have a plan, can't map it out, but all I know is that if I keep taking one step, you will be amazed at where you will end up. So understand that when you create a new belief system, it creates new behaviors and it produces different results. When I began to tell myself that, yes, I can do this, yes, I can accomplish that, I began to behave different. I began to search out how to do the things that I'd never done before. And because of that, I ended up getting some different results. Now, for some of you that are listening to this, having over, 2,000 something, odd number of friends may not be a big deal to you, but it is a big deal to me because I started out not even knowing how to write a post. And so mindset is the beginning. It's what starts the process. And so if you want to go from being in the midst of a challenge where fear is overtaking you, where you feel anxious, where you feel alone, where you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, you've got to change your mindset. So that is number one. Number two is decide that I am going to be courageous. There's so much talk today about, women and confidence and how do we acquire that confidence? I'd like to propose to you that in order to get to a place of confidence, we have to first start with being courageous. Now, what does it mean to be courageous? It means that you have the ability to do something that is fearful, that frightens you. where you were uncomfortable, where you don't know, you couldn't write a plan if someone paid you $1 million. But you decide that I am going to be courageous and I am going to step out into the unknown and figure it out as I go. And sometimes that is what we're doing. We're figuring it out as we go. And for those of you who are part of the faith community, that you have a relationship with the Lord, you also know that God is going to show up and support you and encourage you and give you the wisdom that you need along the way. When we stay in a place of fear, it causes us to remain in a comfort zone. Whatever uh, boundaries that you have set for yourself, fear will make you stay. It'll make you stay in a place of hiding. It will make you lose your voice. It will make you not venture out. It will keep you from connecting with people and designing, being in environments that really would propel you for on your growth journey, because you have allowed fear to take over. So it hinders your ability to be creative and to embrace new opportunities. A challenge is just an opportunity to step into a new environment. Look at it that way. If you are uncomfortable, you have the decision to step into a new environment, and that empowers you and takes you further than you could ever go on your own. So learn to be courageous, see opportunities as a reason to step out of your comfort zone, to step out into your potential and fulfill the destiny that you have been called to. Number 3 is don't be afraid to fail. I can't tell you, this was so important for me as I was making this transition from sitting, at my desk and just, being a basket case, not being afraid to fail. Sometimes we stay in a place of discomfort because we're afraid of stepping out and failing. And one of the things that I had to do was to tell myself, it's okay to fail. In fact, to say, I know you're going to fail. You're not perfect. You are going to fail. You know nothing about some of these subjects. So you are going to fail. Be okay with it. And I got to the place where the most important thing for me was, okay, I already accept that I am in an environment where people are 20 years younger than me, people who have years of experience, people who are authorities in their fields. I can't compete with them. I know I can't. But what I can do is that I can learn. And I remember once I was agreed to be on I would speak at a conference, and I there are so many things that I didn't know. The list is just too long to write out. But anyway, I said yes. And then after I started we had like an introductory meeting with some of the other speakers, and everyone had a PhD, 2 masters, all these initials after their name. And I thought, oh my goodness, I became intimidated. And it's like, okay, what am I doing here? Is there any way that I can get out of this politely and say, I'm not available? And then something dropped in my spirit, and it was, you belong in the room. I opened the door for you to be in the room. And so I don't care what their qualifications are. You have a unique set of qualifications that they don't have. And so I would like to encourage each and every one of you, walk into those rooms where it feels as though you are unqualified, that you're the sore thumb, the oddball. You don't have all the degrees and you don't have everything that everybody else has. But what you have is a set of experiences, you have wisdom, you have understanding that no one else in that room has because they've never had your experiences. The first book that I wrote was The Women at the Table, and I'll just sort of show it here for a minute. And it's really about ordinary women, ordinary moments, extraordinary impact. And it's about 7 women who helped me to experience 18 life lessons. And none of these women were educated. None of them went to college. None of them had a prestigious work environment. None of them, would be on a who's who. And it's not to say that if you belong on who's who, that's fine. That's the path that God has created you for. But what I want us to acknowledge and understand is that all of us have a different path. So even if your path has been unconventional and you don't fit the pattern that everybody else fits into, you still have a purpose, you still have a destiny. And so rest in that. Each of these women, I would not be where I am today if it were not for them. Each of them brought something, a wisdom. One of the ladies taught me a joy of reading. It has, I am still living in that to this day. I love reading. I should own a bookstore or whatever. And if you were to look at in my office, you'd see all these books over here. Someone else taught me about how to dress and what colors were, would be most presentable for me. Someone else taught me the value of learning how to speak. So some of what we carry cannot be qualified by a piece of paper, but it is a wisdom and a skill set that we carry that when we serve others with who we are, that we impact their lives and change them. So don't be afraid to fail. You are unique and there is no one else like you, and the world is waiting for you. So life is about coming up with solutions on how to move forward. And for me, one of the tools that became so valuable for me was YouTube. I got to, and I still do. If I don't know how to do something, I just, I'll start out normally Googling it, and normally, you don't get as much, but go on YouTube. I have listened to so many videos on, how to do this, how to do that. There is a solution. You don't have to have all the knowledge yourself, but you have to be in a position where you are willing to go out and get it. And so the challenge that you are facing, realize that there is a solution for you. And all you have to do is figure out how to get it. It may be in a video, it may be in a mentor, it may be in a friendship, a group of women, it may be in a book, but it's somewhere. And so it's up to each and every one of us to go searching for what it is that we need. The fourth thing is to do your best. And, you think, oh, well, I always do my best. But when I say do our best, it means showing up and being present. It means showing up with all that you are, all of your resources, all of your creativity, all of your ability to listen and bring your creative talents and abilities to that particular situation that you find yourself in. One of as a coach, it's, you get to talk to people and you hear some of their frustrations. And one of the frustrations that you hear often is that people don't listen. They don't show up. They don't show up fully. They just, okay, you're talking, but they're on the cell phones and all that. So being your best, and doing your best means showing up with everything that you have. So, how do I approach the situation that you're in, the transition, the challenge that you're in. I can't sit back and say, okay, well, I've never done this before, so I'm just going to wing it. No, no, you employ every resource that you have. What experiences have you gone through in the past that you might be able to utilize to help move you forward right now? Who has come across your path that might be able to help you accelerate this time of transition? So it's not like you take anything for granted or that you hold back and say, okay, I'm going to let somebody else do it. No, you show up and you be your best, and you are determined that this is something that I can accomplish. And I like to think of, there is a scripture, that I always think about when I'm thinking about this, is that we were created to perform good works. Each of us was created to perform good works, but you don't do that unless you show up and do and be your best. So that's something that we all have to do. So show up and do your good works. When we do our best, it releases a creativity, it releases our talents, our gifts, our skills. There's a wisdom that all of a sudden we have that we didn't have before, and solutions. We've got solutions. And so also in this, as we are thinking about how do I show up and be the best that I can be, is that we don't compare ourselves to others. I spoke about this a little bit previously, but don't compare yourself to anybody else, because you are a unique individual. You are one of a kind. I have 3 daughters, and one of the things that I used to tell them when they were growing up is that you're one of a kind. And what was I saying to them when I said you're one of a kind? And even today, they're adults and have their own lives. And every now and then I'll say, before we hang up, I love you, and you are one of a kind. And what I'm saying is that you are a unique package. I have 3 daughters that grew up with the same mom and dad in the same environment, and all 3 of them are so uniquely different. We all are so uniquely different. So show up and be that unique person that you were created to be. Number 5 is self-care is essential. And I also did a workbook on self-care. And we can be so attuned to doing things like we've always done them that we forget that we may need to tweak how we function in a new season, or how we function as we are going through a challenge or a transition. I like to think of myself as being someone I love to check things. Love to make lists and check things off. Being able to say, oh, I did that, I did that, I did that. Oh, I just feel so great about myself, which means that sometimes what I'll do is I won't quit something until I'm finished. Well, I've learned that philosophy is not always the best for my well-being, because what that causes me to do is stay up past my bedtime, not eat, miss lunch. Oh, I'll eat when I finish, or to be in a position where I am so determined that I am going to finish whatever this is, or go through this, that I just shut everybody else out. And so for us to be at our best, to function at our best, we have to ask ourselves, what does it take for me to excel physically, emotionally, and spiritually? What is it that causes me to be at my best? When you are going through a trying time in life, it affects your whole body system. You may find that you don't eat as well, or you crave things that are not really healthy. I mean, when you're being challenged, who wants to eat a salad? No, let's eat a bowl of ice cream with some chocolate and nuts and bananas. That's what we need. We don't need a salad. But those are the things that we have to step back and say, okay, I know that this is a trying time. I know that I'm being pulled in a lot of different directions. I'm having to make some decisions. What can I do and what should I do to prepare myself to be able to handle this with grace and to be able to handle this in the quickest amount of time as we possibly can. We've all been in a position where we've been stressed and we've screamed at our kids, or been short with your husband, or gave your coworker a look that could kill. So that's why it is so important for us to be in a place where we also know how to take care of this body that we've been given. And how do I do it with grace? How do I do it in such a way that not only am I moving forward, but I'm also hopefully raising everybody else that comes alongside of me and giving them an example of of how to live life and how to experience the challenges of life and not allow it to affect how we interact with people. So you can't go all out, you can't play big, you can't accomplish great things of any significance if you're in an unhealthy state. So make sure that as you are making these transitions, as you are moving through life, that you are also taking a step back and reflecting on what is it that I need to do and how do I need to show up so that I can be at my best and also impact the lives of others. Number 6 is embrace your strengths, your gifts, and your talents. This allows you to become a change agent. We all know that we have these fingerprints that are very unique and that sort of set us apart from everybody else. But we also have these gifts, these talents, these perspectives that we bring to life that allows us to move beyond where we are at. When I am going through a time of difficulty, and even when I was going through the one that, where I was sitting at my desk and wondering, what am I going to do with my life here? I stepped back and I said, okay, what have you already accomplished? Where have you had successes that could help you at this particular moment? And one of the things that I realized is that I'm a learner. I love learning. And so I determined that, okay, I'm going to go through this transition with the only objective of learning. I may not, I may not end up being good at this. I may not, ever be at the top of the class, but I love learning. So that is one of the skill sets. That's one of the traits that is unique to me. But we all have them. There are things that each and every one of us has that sets us apart and allows us to become a change agent. So, it helps us to shine, and it also helps us to have to be able to function with a level of confidence that we wouldn't ordinarily have. One of my strong suits is that I normally can go into an environment. I'm not the person who can go into a room full of people and dance on the table and all. That's not me. What I do is I love these one-on-one interactions, and I love being able to sit with someone and help bring out their best. And so, what I will do is walk into a room full of people and say, okay, look, take a view of the room and say, okay, who in here needs what I have? and then just go up, oh, and start a conversation and really, you know, help that person to see what's on the inside of them, how they can be their best, how they can make an impact in whatever it is that they're doing. And so when we show up with whatever our strength is, then it allows us to have the influence, and it really allows us to be able to impact the lives of other people by serving them. And the seventh thing I did was craft a power statement. Uh, we all know that there are going to be days when you will need to encourage yourself. Of course, it's great if you've got friends that are around you, and you know, you can call up a girlfriend, or you know, a spouse, or your children, or a coworker, or whatever. But sometimes they don't have time for you, and you've got to figure it out yourself. And so, what do you do when you find yourself in a position where, you know, I think I've done all the right things, but I'm still not progressing. I'm still not making forward motion. I have an idea, but I don't, it's not clear, it's not focused. And so coming up with a power statement, whether it be a phrase or a you know, an affirmation, something that empowers you and inspires you and motivates you to keep going. One of the things that I share in my book is that when I was still in high school, I had some health challenges. And, you know, one of the situations was I went into the hospital, and, you know, it was, oh, in 3 days, you'll be back at school and all that. Well, anyway, 3 months later, I was taking my, going to my final doctor's appointment. And my mother did a fantastic thing for me. Um, and because I have required, you know, daily dressings and all this kind of stuff. And that she would come into my room and do whatever she needed to do to help me progress physically. And she would say, tomorrow is going to be better. And that became my power statement. Tomorrow is going to be better. Tomorrow is going to be better. While I was going through this situation here, this in the last 6 years, I said to my power statement was is that I may not be the best at this task, but I will learn everything that I can. And, you know, there were some days it's like, oh, you listen to 3 or 4 videos, you know, they're 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. You take a class, you purchase a class, and it's like you finish and it's like, I don't know what they were talking about. Uh, I don't know what they're talking about, and that did not help me at all. And sometimes you feel like I've wasted time, I've wasted money, but I have determined that it's all about learning. And for me, it's that, okay, I am learning what not to do sometimes. Sometimes it was learning, oh, I could be doing that. I could explain that better. But there is, you know, when we come up with our own affirmation, our own, you know, if you prayer, whatever it is, you know, you have a prayer, or you have a motto, or you have something that when you say it, it begins to energize and build life and hope and a solution that things are going to get better. And so we all need that. And I don't care where you're at, you'd better come up with some phrase, statement, motto that is going to push you forward. And so, you know, these are 7 things that I have used to sort of make a major transition in my life. And I want to just sort of, you know, go back just for a moment and give you an understanding of why I started this journey as I was sitting in my desk, at my desk 6 years ago. God had said to me, part of this transition is because you need to make some changes. You need to do some different things differently. You've become very comfortable in how you have lived your life and some of the things that you've done. And so I have put you in a place where you are totally uncomfortable and where you're going to have to learn how to do everything again. And part of that transition was that um, he wanted me to write a book, which was my first book, The Women at the Table. And then as a result of that, the program that I took to write the book, most of it was online. And so I had to learn how to navigate, technology. And then once I finished the book, one of my mentors said, well, if you write a book and nobody knows, then what good is that? So you've got to get on social media. You've got to learn how to promote. You've got to learn how to engage in this new environment. And so all of the learning has been to fulfill what I feel was an assignment that God gave me. And what I would say to each and every one of you is that um, the way that you have been living life, you may be in this transition because it's created to make you so uncomfortable that you will do anything and everything to move outside of it. And so hopefully these 7 principles will help you sort of look at where you are today and give you some strategies. And it's not the end all, you add, you take away, whatever feels good for you, whatever helps you move forward. And I believe that even where I am today and what I've been able to accomplish, that there are times when God says, okay, this principle you don't need anymore. Let's put this one there. And so learning how to be flexible so that we can always hear what is the wisdom that I need for my life at this particular moment. So I'm going to just review the 7 principles that I shared with you. Shift your self-concept, change your mindset. Number 2, be courageous. Step out into the unknown. Number 3, don't be afraid to fail. Give yourself permission to fail. Say that I am giving myself permission to fail, because failure is one of the greatest tools that we can ever have. It will teach you very quickly what not to do and get you back on track. Number 4, do your best. Show up and be the very best that you can be for yourself. We have, as women, sometimes we show up and we're our best for our family, our co-workers, everybody else, but we forget to show up and be the best for me. Number 5, self-care is essential. Determine what is it that you need. I also did a self-care journal, and one of the principles that I share in there is that every day give yourself 15 minutes of self-reflection where you are asking yourself, what do I need today? And is it in my emotions? Is it mentally? Is it spiritually? Is it physical? What is it that I need today that is going to help me move beyond where I am? Number 6, is embrace your strengths, embrace your skill set, embrace the talents that you carry, and don't belittle what you already carry. There are some people that can walk into a room and they've got this beautiful smile that just sets the room on, it just makes the room alive. That's a strength and a gift that they have. Not everybody can do that. We all have something. Go through some type of assessment that helps you to clarify and understand what happens when I step into a room, what happens when I engage people, and use that to your advantage. One of the things that I've learned recently is when we show up in our strength, things change, environments change. I can remember, once I was in the grocery store and I don't believe in doing self-checkout. I just don't. I I don't care how many self-checkout lines they have. if there is a cashier and there's a line with 5 people in it, I'm going to take my buggy and I'm going to get in line. I just don't, I think it does not make any sense for me to walk around in your store for an hour and then spend time bagging my own groceries. I refuse to do it. So so I'm in line, and it's a line that has several people in, and I hear some of the people ahead of me, they're sort of grumbling, and I'm looking at the magazines that are on the side, fake whatever, stories that they have. Finally, I get up to the front and I realize what the issue is. The cashier has a trainer. I'm, in training badge on. And so I thought, oh my goodness, why are they giving her a hard time? And I thought, okay, I am going to make her day. And so when I got up, I said, okay, hi, how are you? I'm Carolyn. I see that you're a trainer, and I know exactly what that feels like. I have been in positions where, I'm learning how to do something, and then you feel pressure because there's people who have expectations of you, and it can really make it difficult for you to do your best. And I said to her, well, I'm a very patient person, so you can take just as long as you want and take your time. And I will assure you that the next time I come to the store, that you will have progressed so that you'll be doing this so fast that you will be amazed at how much you'll grow. And she's smiling, and I thought, that's part of who I am. I'm a motivator. I'm an encourager. And so when you show up in your strength, it doesn't matter if it's in a room that has 500 people in it or one person that's a cashier behind in the grocery store. You show up with whatever God has given you. That is where your influence is. That is where you are able to shift environments. And I was able to help that young person understand that, yes, I can do it. And I walked away knowing, okay, God, thank you for allowing me to see the power that we have when we walk in our strength and we're comfortable just being who you have created us to be. And number 7 is to craft a power statement. You're going to need it. I don't care how fantastic you are, what you've done or accomplished, but there's going to come a day when you're going to have to encourage yourself. So write it in your journal and make sure that you repeat it to yourself to transform your mindset and create a pathway for greatness. My closing thought for the ladies here is that the challenge that you're in is a setup to catapult you into a champion. The challenge you're in is a setup to catapult you into a champion. And so I just encourage you to walk as a champion. Don't be limited by the environment, the circumstance, the situation. You've got this. And so, with power and the authority that you have, just be who God created you to be.
Jesus, what can I say? You just, when you came into the studio today, I said, I just got to, have my spiritual mom on call. And the whole day, this was for me. Let me tell you something. Ladies watching this, maybe it's not for you, but I'm telling you, this whole revelation, I call it, is, sometime last month, I happened to have entered into this coaching class, as you keep saying. I love everything she do. So one of the days I was praying, for the next direction, and I hear this word, revelation to revenue. And listening to you, I like this 7 principle. Oh my God, this is a mastermind.
Oh,
Seriously,
great.
this is a mastermind, and I'm so happy. Ladies, listen to me. I'm watching those on Facebook right now. Somebody say God made each of us special. That is true, Joanne. Let me tell you something. This is a mastermind. This is something
Oh,
that
wow.
you need to, everyone, trust me, this is one of the videos you should go back and watch again, because I'm going to do that.
Oh, thank you.
You made life effortlessly livable. I don't know
Mhm.
if those are English connection, but it just pop in. You know, like if anybody figure this, shifting their mindset, you know, growing to be courageous, you know, as I
Mhm.
wrote, don't be afraid to fail.
Mhm.
Let me tell you something. I was in that place of failure for years, even with all God did in my life. Like when I think about it, since I began to unlock myself and with this we're doing in the last 90 days, when I think about where I was like 6 months from now, a year ago, 2 years ago, where I was like your 6 years ago, like what, you know, that fear
Mhm.
of failure. The fear of failure alone had me
Mhm.
in an exclusive place. Even when I was showing up on Facebook, I was showing up on, let's say, YouTube, I was showing up for team. But in my inner being, I knew I was not operating in the potential God had for me. One, but I was I just overthink everything that happened in that season and put myself in a cage. Ladies that watching us, I just want you to know this, that this challenge, this champion is not something that I just wake up yesterday and say, no, this is like years of where I'm coming from. Like a reverend minister, I've been in the ministry for the last 14 years.
Mhm.
What will put me in a dark place in the last 2 years to start with? What will make me not show up in the room like my authentic self? I couldn't do this 6 months ago. I had this
Mhm.
call over, last month was 2 years that a man of God spoke to me about this. But I was going through that failure process. So when you said, don't be afraid to fail, you spoke to me because that's where
Mhm.
I believe I was coming from and still
Mhm.
transitioning, even as I have you ladies on this call. Like, I want, as I'm coming out, that many people come out with me so you don't stay where you are. Don't be afraid to fail.
Right.
I wrote a whole book, the VIPs, if you're a VIP, you have access to my book, Bold Beyond Boundaries. You know, everything that that book said is mastering success through a fearless
Mm.
mindset. Like you're gonna know that failure is gonna be there, but that is not your end. Success is what happened at the end of every failure. The opposite of failure is
Right.
success.
Mhm. Mhm.
Come
That's where
on.
it begins. And I think that, for those of us who, well, I think for all of us, when there is such a pressure to be right and not make any mistakes and feel as though, we always have to be perfect. And our perfection is in Christ. It's not in us. But what our responsibility is to show up and be the very best that we can be, that we are position ourselves to represent him, which means that we are men and women of character, that we show up authentically, that we learn how to die to ourselves, that we have put our desires down and put his desires ahead of our own desires. What is it that he desires for us to do? And that becomes the thing that propels us, because I never wanted to write a book. I would have never written a book if God hadn't told me. My husband writes books, and so in fact, when he said write a book, it's like, I don't write books. My husband writes books. And but it was like, no, I knew that he had said it. And so, it's like, okay, if the request and the demand is that I write a book, then I have to show up and be the very best that I can be in writing this and in accomplishing this, which means that, I've got to do some preparation, prepare, um, preparatory work, because that's it, in order to create something that is the best representation, not only for me, but also for God who called me. And so I think, sometimes the greatest challenge we have is, how do we take the word that we know and make it practical enough for us to live it out? There's nothing wrong with, the word. It's in us determining, how will I walk this out? How will I live this out? How will I use all the graces that I've been given, and then demonstrate to the world that there is a quality of life, and there is a way of living that will encourage people to go above and beyond where they are at that particular moment.
Oh, wow, the ladies are here. Oh my God. Hi, blessings. Somebody say, awesome for that young lady to hear. Be kind. I love that. And somebody say, great teaching, Joanne. And another lady say, great words of wisdom. Got to reward this. Yes, you supposed to. Ladies, let me tell you something. This 2024, you can't afford not to unstop, unhook, unlock, unleash, whatever on you have to do. It's time to do it. This is for me. The lady Sharon said, this is for me. And I'm telling you, oh my God, my God. I now know that there's Deborah's, still here. They are not all gone. They are right here, and I'm so happy to connect with one of them. And I just want to, the final, I know there's no question coming nowhere. None of our VIPs is on. I just want you to know, to let them know how they can connect with you, what your free gift is going to be. And, anybody that want to work with you on your book or things like that, let us know how to connect with you.
Okay. My free gift is entitled 8 Ways to Jumpstart Your Success, Unlock Your Potential. And it will just give you some further keys and strategies on how to be your best, and how to approach life from a champion's perspective. And so I know and believe that the ladies will also be blessed by that. All of my books are available on my website, and my website is www.carolinawarren.com, and they are also available on Amazon. So all of them are available on Amazon. And if you order on Amazon, normally you can get something the next day, or very, very shortly. So yes, so those are the two things. And that as I said, I've got 4 books. I've got a prayer journal, I've got a self-care journal, and then a workbook that goes along with my signature book, the Women at the Table. And you can follow me on Instagram. Also, ask me for a friend request, and also have a business page on Facebook as well. So I am available for speaking engagements and coaching for leadership development for individuals. And my greatest desire is to help people move beyond whatever stumbling blocks, whatever roadblocks that are in front of them, and helping them to fulfill their purpose and fulfill their destiny. Because I believe that everybody has something. Everybody has something to give and to share with the world.
Amen. Amen, woman of God. Amen. I have to have you back for the marriage coaching, because you've been married. Yes, you've been married from my book. As I told you, I was going back to you the other day, and I hear that again. I really have to. You've been married for 53 years, right?
Yeah.
Yes, 53 years. So I have to we have to have our coach back for a marriage session, because there's no better marriage coach to have to, teach us, especially the new wedded or those on it, or those that want to be, how you have
Mhm.
done it for the last 53 years and look so
Yes.
sweet. Um,
Yes, yes. And the thing that I like to say is that we still like one another. We're still in love. So that's
yeah.
that makes all the difference in the world.
Believe me, believe me. So who better to bring in? So one of these I'm gonna let you know, and we're gonna have that marriage counseling session and let's say marriage coaching or whatever it is, because I know that our community here, they are really ready for their next level. So ladies,
Great.
please connect with our coach in the house. She just been a mom in the house today for me. And I really want to appreciate her for that. Yes. Wow. Somebody say, wow. 53 years, yes, yes, Sister Sharon. So make sure to connect if you need somebody to unstock you, unhook you, unleash you, whatever. Make sure you connect. Anyway, that will be it today.
Well,
It was a mastermind. This
well, thank you.
mastermind. So ladies, don't play with this video as long as we have it, and just go through it and just, learn and get a better 2024 going forward to eternity. Because let me tell you something, you have to create that life here, even as we're looking towards the one that is above, but there's one God has given us here that we have to be responsible for. That is why when the master come, it's going to start with a gift that he gave us. What did you do with it? If he was
Mhm.
only looking up to heaven, the master will not ask for those talents of who he gave
Mhm.
5, who he gave 2, who he gave 1. And look at what he did. He took from who he gave 1 that refused to do anything with it and gave to who he gave 5 that multiplied it to 10. So what are you doing with your gift? So this is not a
Mhm.
joke anymore. As long as you're in this community, it's time to become champion, because we are raising only champions. We are not playing
Amen.
mediocre men in this year. Champions. So thank you so much. I'm going to let you go now. It's been
Okay, it's been my
amazing.
pleasure.
And say bye-bye to our people.
Bye-bye. Bless you all.
I'm gonna